Let's calculate Goku's strength without bias during the end of the Z arc because so many Goku scalers consider me a down player for sharing the facts. So in today's video, let's shock all those ratty scalers who lie with some Goku lifting strength facts. Goku in base form during the Otherworld tournament could not lift 40 tons in base form, and that means he can't lift 2,000 tons in Super Saiyan 1 form. Later, in Super, when training with King Kai, he's lifting 5 of these plates. These plates are around 6 2/3 Goku's in length, and Goku is 5'7" and 1/3 of Goku thick, which is about 25 inches. Other scalers make the mistake of calculating the full disc here, but these are curling plates that are frisbee shaped due to how cleanly they stack, so there is no center, and in this image, Goku's head is above the edges. These are essentially short bowl shaped discs, so automatically take off 50% of the weight calculation. The full length is 405 inches by 25 inches, and they are most likely cast iron, which makes them about 412.5 tons each, minus 50% due to the stacking shape. Each plate makes around 200 tons, and there are 3 large plates, and the bottom 3 are 600 tons in total. The next 2 plates are much smaller, about half the size, so that's about 100 tons each for those 2, adding another 200 tons for a total of 800 tons. However, if you ask me, this top plate is a much thicker base connector, which I would assume is equal to the top 2 for another 200 tons, making it an even 1,000 tons total. And this is also the best calculation for the writing staff's simplistic way of writing. They aren't going to sample this as some insanely complex weird number. They write things as simple as possible, and 1,000 tons is really quite perfect. X10 for King Kai's gravity on his planet. That means Goku's lifting about 10,000 tons in base form. You have to admit that this number seems narratively perfect for the fans to understand and calculate it themselves very easily. And since King Kai's world is 10 times gravity, he can lift 10,000 tons. I've seen a lot of other scalers say these are 57,000 tons apiece, and Goku is 5'9". He isn't officially, he's 5'7", and these are frisbee-shaped discs. Goku's base can lift 10,000 tons at a power level of 3 million. If Goku with a power level of 3 million can lift 10,000 tons, and each doubling of the power level gets you plus 15% strength, what weight can Goku lift at a power level of 150 million? Goku can lift 22,007 tons at a power level of 150 million. That's a lot of weight. 25,308.5 tons for Super Saiyan 2, and 33,470 tons for Super Saiyan 3, and about 51,384 tons for Super Saiyan 4, which is exactly on par with large buildings and the estimated weight of a street corner down to the depth of 100 feet, considering the bedrock and the buildings, street lamps, people, and the cemented top layer. It's actually scary accurate and darn near perfect. We can easily calculate Red God and Blue God too. Red God Goku was the same power level as his Divine Ki, plus Super Saiyan 1, as Goku doesn't notice the power shift when his Red God form runs out and his body picks up Super Saiyan 1 to cope with the loss. And Beerus explains that the power of his new Super Saiyan 1 form and his Red God form were the same, and Goku didn't even notice. So Red God is another 50x, just like the Super Saiyan 1 power levels are. However, Red God is highly more efficient than if Goku opts to go regular Super Saiyan 1. Majin Buu had a power level around 200 to 250 million, and base Goku and Super and Skinny Buu are on par with each other. Remember that Fat Buu was rinsed by Kid Buu and was immensely depleted in power at the end of Z and into Super. Remember also that Kid Buu is not on par with Super Saiyan 3 and is less powerful, but more powerful than Super Saiyan 2. And Fat Buu is significantly less powerful than Kid Buu. Base Goku and Super had a power level on par with Skinny Buu at about 200 to 250 million. That's a little bit stronger than his regular old Super Saiyan 1 form, so he can lift about 26,000 tons in base form. Red God is another 50x over this. Red God is about equal to Goku's original Super Saiyan 2 power level, times 50. So that's about 25,308.5 tons times 50 for 1.265 million tons for Red God Goku. and Blue God is another 50x over this for 63 million.2 tons for Blue God, and Goku can 3 times his strength stat with ki focusing for a whopping 120 million in God form. So how did the end of Z Goku and early Super Goku lift 10,000 tons when prior he couldn't lift just 40?
You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
If you ask me, Goku in Dragon Ball Super Episode 3 is ki amped, although still not in Super Saiyan form. Goku did not increase his form by 250 times by the end of the Buu Saga to Episode 3 of Super. You see how this works against all the scalers and fraudulent Goofus out there who make videos saying they have exponential growth? Based on that, Goku in base can't lift more than 10,000 tons, which is a heck of a lot. This debunks the argument that Goku grows exponentially over the years. If you work this backwards, how did we get from Goku lifting 40 tons to 10,000 tons in base? So the only way this works is that Goku during the Otherworld tournament scene was highly suppressed, which to me makes a lot of sense and doesn't harm the others around him, which is also something I mentioned a few times in my videos in the past. So base 3 million Goku during the Otherworld tournament has a lifting strength of 40 tons, but by the end of Z he has a lifting strength of 10,000 tons with a base of 3 million. And this gets really weird when Goku tells us that his power level dropped so low that he can now get scratched and bruised by bullets. So this indicates that Goku's natural base form is the one we're seeing during his interaction with the robbers, where he gets shot and gets hurt. And the training scene for King Kai was Goku amped significantly for his training session. There's only one way to work this out logically, in that when Goku was training with King Kai, he was powered up to the max in his base form, but without going Super Saiyan. Base Goku Kaioken times 100 is twice as strong as his Super Saiyan 1 form. And we know that Goku can 3 times his stat with ki focusing, so the math works out that Goku during Episode 3 of the training on King Kai's world maxes out his base form, pushing it to the limits, and then ki focusing that times 3. Goku Kaioken times 16 can reach 3 times its own power stats, which then exceed his Super Saiyan 1 multiplier x50 stats. So it's way more logical that Goku during Episode 3's training sequence was using an amped state of being with ki focusing for his physical strength as well, which Whis explains later is what Goku should have been doing the entire time, and focusing his training with his base form, and Goku completely ignored this with his Red God and his Super Saiyan Blue form. So Goku was doing it right in Episode 3 of Super, then fell off and ignored Whis' statements. Still, I calculate Blue God at about 120 million tons max, which is wild and crazy, and the first time I've ever done a real strength calculation for Goku. 120 million tons is a fraction of a mountain.